Okay, this is interesting.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
Okay, so as you guys know, I put up a poll because I do that like every 5 days, every 5 seconds, every 5 milliseconds. I asked you guys, who do you believe is going to be the Spurs closer this upcoming season? Now, obviously, it's very early to tell. Okay, it's so freaking early. But some brave souls out there said Malachi Branham at 9%, which is pretty high out of 3K votes. That's decent. And we also have Josh Primo at 21%. Now when I'm saying who's going to be the closer, I think all of us were in agreement on what I meant. I didn't necessarily mean who's the most clutch, okay? Because at the end of the day, I think all these guys are pretty clutch. From what I've seen, they're pretty clutch. But at the end of the day, it's going to be whoever Pop kind of plays through at the end of these games. And last season, I thought that it was substantially more DeJounte Murray. But after going back and looking at some of the percentages here, we can see that Keldon Johnson was in just as many situations as DJ when it comes to clutch situations. So if you're wondering what clutch situations are, they're basically just within 5 minutes and within 5 point differential. Okay, so there's 5 minutes left on the clock, and the score is 5 points or less apart. And as we can see here, DeJounte Murray, he was in 35 of those games. Keldon Johnson was in 33. Now, if you look at the percentages here, as far as like 2 point percentage and 3 point percentage, you can see that Keldon Johnson was 50% 2 point percentage, 25% 3 point percentage. But at the end of the day, that's not super impressive. You have to kind of contextualize everything, because if you look at this alone, you'll say, oh my goodness, that's really good for those situations. But at the end of the day, it's also, you got to keep in mind that this team that we had last season, you didn't have to double anybody. Even DeJounte Murray, I watched these games. DJ didn't get double teamed substantially. Okay, they didn't necessarily have to. So at the end of the day, while these percentages aren't bad, like they're actually good. If you compare it to somebody like Joel Embiid, you might make the assumption, because Joel Embiid is probably the most clutch, at least from last season. He was the best closer in all the games. Him and DeMar DeRozan, I believe, at some point they were. But as we can see here, his percentages are quite lower. You can see his 2 point percentage, 45.6, which is really good. But then his 3 point is 20.9, and that comes out to about like 31, 32. Don't quote me on that, okay? I didn't do the numbers, but it's about 31% or something. Like it's pretty low. But at the end of the day, if you compare it to DJ and Keldon, it's about the same, but it's a completely different situation. So what are my thoughts on this? Who's going to be the closer? I have two levels here, okay? I think that the San Antonio Spurs are obviously going to look to Keldon to close. Now, I don't necessarily know if he'll be the best closer. My gut feeling here is that Devin Vassell might end up being the best closer for the Spurs. And even those votes, you guys put 28%. But that's kind of my thought on it. Just from what I've seen, especially in that, I know it's just one game, but that play-in, he came in pretty doggone clutch. And he's definitely going to be a guy that already has a few years or a couple years down, on his belt. Popovich would not mind playing through him to try to close in certain situations. And on top of it, I think that he's shown an ability to close, and he has a very nice jump shot to go with that. So just me personally, my gut tells me Devin Vassell. But you know what? Clutch scoring isn't the only form of clutchness. I also wanted to go back and look at defensive clutchness, okay? So as far as defensive ratings, and as you guys know, defensive ratings are the best when they're the lowest. And if we look here, we can see Zach Collins is the lowest, but at the end of the day, he's only played in 7 of those situations. Still great, okay? Still phenomenal, but 7 games, I mean, what you gonna take from that? Same with Joe Wieskamp. I would not dare say Joe Wieskamp is a great defender by any means. But you can see his defensive rating is very low. Jock Landale, he played in 9, 88. KBD, I think this is really, really good. 11, that's a pretty decent sample size. And we can see it's 91.3. But what I wanted to kind of point out is that Josh Primo, I know, like, excuse to talk about Josh Primo. But Josh Primo, seriously though, his defensive rating is really, really nice at 92.8% out of 11 games. And you got to keep in mind, Josh Primo was back and forth from the Spurs to the G League. They were trying to fit him in how they could. But the fact that he was 19 and he was able to play in 19 of those, or 11, sorry, of those clutch situations. And not only that, even though his offensive rating, you can see, is not that impressive at all. But once again, contextualize it. We didn't go through him a whole ton by any means, but you can see his defensive rating. That's what was keeping him in the game. This is the reason why he was playing in these situations. And I look back, and when I think about the clutchness of Josh Primo, when I say, hey dude, I keep telling you guys, Josh Primo is really clutch. He's shown some clutchness last season, and people just scratch their heads like, what are you talking about? I think about the huge block that he had on SGA. I think about a lot of times in which he closed, and even Popovich praised him for that. So all I'm trying to say is, I think Josh Primo, he's going to have clutchness, and it's just going to be a matter of if the Spurs are willing to allow him to take those shots. Now, when it's all said and done, I think later in the season, maybe halfway to end of the season, more than likely we're going to be able to see it in a clearer picture. But just starting off, I think it is going to come down to, okay, who has the years under their belt, and who are we going to try to play through in those situations? And I think that's going to be more so Keldon and Devin Vassell. But you're not going to be able to hide from this. I really do believe that Josh Primo is going to be able to show a lot of clutchness once this season, goes into it. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of show this just to kind of contextualize it a little bit. But yeah, his defensive rating is really, really nice. Bryn Forbes, I don't know how that happened. Oh, my cat's sad. Hold on. Did you hear that? Hey girl, hey, you want to come over here? Want to sit here? You want to talk to the people? No? You want to go? Hold on. There you go. Yeah, that was... I'm not editing that out. Okay, but anyways, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because I think it is nice to contextualize everything. And even though Bryn Forbes is a weird statistical anomaly, I don't know what's going on here. Jakob Poeltl, he's in that category, 99. That's really good. And we would all kind of agree with that. And then Keldon and DeJounte Murray, both 105, 105. So all I'm saying is identically, wrong thing. Keldon Johnson and DeJounte Murray have been in those same situations, and we've basically either went through DeJounte or Keldon, but Devin Vassell showed a ton in that play-in. So overall, this is all I'm saying. I completely agree with you guys. Keldon Johnson will be the closer. Okay, I truly do believe it. I think that the best closer next season will be Devin Vassell, especially even starting off into the middle to end or whatever. Just overall, I think Devin Vassell is going to be the best closer because we're going to go through him or Keldon, and I think Devin Vassell will trump Keldon just slightly. And then I believe that Josh Primo is going to show a certain amount of clutchness that at least makes fans raise an eyebrow and say, is this our future closer? I truly do believe that. So we'll just wait and see, but those are my thoughts on it. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. Also, I said this before, I'll say it again. The shop, okay, the online shop, I am open. I don't know when I don't know when I'm posting this video, but the shop, the online shop, link is going to be in the description for it, so you'll be able to go and support the channel if you want. But yeah, it'll be there. So if you want to support, it's there. I'll give it to you guys later, man. Until next time, deuces.